What is going on? AJ here. Before we get the show started, I want to let you know this episode is brought to you by MUZMM.com. They make these pretty killer duffel bag / backpack hybrids. Pretty darn sick, I gotta say. Anyway, if you want to save 20% on your next order, you can go to MUZMM.com/discount/STGeekPod. You can also use our discount code STGeekPod at checkout. Again, that's for 20% off, but we'll talk about that a little later on in the episode. Let's get things started. Welcome back to another episode of the STGeek Podcast with myself, AJ, and alongside me, as always, are my co-hosts,
Peter,
John.
And as you may or may not know, we talk about movies, gaming, comics, TV shows, really whatever the hell we really want to talk about for the day. Our main topic, as you know, as the title of this episode would be Alita, Battle Angel, the movie, not the manga quite, or OVA for that matter. We'll get into that a little later.
I definitely watched the wrong thing, guys.
Oh, damn.
Oh, shit.
You mean we didn't watch a porn graphic?
Oh, my God.
I was wondering why the runtime was only 30 minutes. Right. And I found it.
I wonder why my runtime was only 2.
Off with the bang. Dang. I'm so sorry, Mom. At the start of every episode, we do talk about some news stories throughout the week before we get to our main topic. So without further ado, let's get into it. So, Peter, first and foremost, you wanted to talk about some Marvel series coming to perhaps Hulu?
Yes, Marvel series.
It was hard to get out. I'm sorry.
I know. That was a question mark. Hulu?
Yeah, why Hulu of all the words?
I don't know. Go
okay,
ahead.
so there's been 4 animated Marvel series announced for Hulu, and they're MODOK, Hitmonkey, Tigra and Dazzler, Howard the Duck, and all 4 of those series are going to culminate in an animated show called The Offenders.
Nice.
Really?
Yes.
Nice.
So they're pulling a Defender. It's like they're almost making fun of themselves at this point,
Sure,
honestly.
yeah.
Avengers, Offenders, Defenders. Like it's all over the place. So supposedly it's supposed to be Marvel has come out and said that their more adults themed stuff are going to be coming out on Hulu.
That's cool.
So no, these aren't going to be on Disney Plus?
No, these are not going to be on Disney Plus. And I'm curious to hear. I'm very curious to see how these turn out, because Howard the Duck is a pretty ridiculous character.
For sure. I mean, in and of its name, really.
And if they're going to have a more adult theme to it, I honestly don't think it's going to be on the levels of the Netflix shows.
Sure.
Yeah.
As far as violence goes, but more for adults than, say, I don't know, their Disney XD animated TV shows are, I guess. Yeah. So there's some pretty obscure characters. MODOK.
For sure. I was surprised when you sent me that text. I was like, really? MODOK?
Yeah, MODOK.
Okay. Great.
Howard
Man
the
on
Duck.
a chair.
I'll admit, I really only know
baby
MODOK
head in
and
a
Howard
chair,
the Duck. I'm not familiar with Hitmonkey, Tigra, or Dazzler, though.
I'm not familiar with Hitmonkey or I know a little bit about Tigra, but Dazzler's a mutant.
Gotcha.
So another sort of exciting news is that she's going to potentially be the first mutant in the MCU.
That's technically you'd be right in that case. Yeah, that's actually kind of neat.
If this show's in the MCU.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if that's confirmed yet.
At least it's something affiliated with Marvel that they're willing to put out there ever since, I guess, Fox lost their rights. Is that the case? Or they're losing the rights to Marvel characters?
Wait, I'm sorry, say that again?
Fox? I thought they were losing characters, or am I completely off by that?
Well, Fox is owned by... It got bought out by Disney.
Gotcha. So I guess it's just the first time we're going to see mutants since Fox is now being bought out by Disney.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so that's pretty exciting. I agree. If this show turns out to be as funny as it seems it is, I'm ready to dive in and see what it's all about. Like you said, if it's going to be like slapstick, kind of crazy, more adult-like humor, I think I could appreciate this, where it doesn't have to be serious and an overarching story throughout, you know what I mean?
And because it's animated, it can go in so many different directions. So I'm very curious to see which direction they go in.
I'm kind of sensing I'm not a big fan of the show, but like a Venture Bros vibe kind of from this. Maybe more like Adult Swim. Maybe with I don't know if there'd be much language, but maybe a little bit as well.
Marvel already has a show on Hulu, which I've never seen, called The Runaways.
Yes.
Which is, I've heard it's fine.
I've heard it's good. Heard it's good. I've been wanting to check it out, but I have yet to.
Same here. So that's pretty cool. I like the concept of that. It's a fun thing.
Sounds pretty cool.
But anyway, so that's that.
Yeah.
That's about it for that.
Sure.
We'll see how that
goes. Yeah. I'm excited.
Howard the Duck
comes
into this. The Offenders. That's so funny.
Yeah. I'm ready to take a ride for it. Why not? Next up, you guys brought up that James Wan is going to produce Aquaman spinoff.
Yes.
Okay.
James Wan's going to produce the spin-off called The Trench.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
How the fuck they're gonna? I don't know what the hell that's gonna be. This
Yeah.
is so fucking weird. Is it not? Like Aquaman is a weird. Like I think we all enjoyed Aquaman.
Yeah.
But it's a weird fucking movie. And
Yeah.
to make a spin-off movie based on that one location, it was probably the most interesting location. I'll give it that.
Yeah, I would say.
But what
What are
the
you gonna
fuck?
do with it?
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
that is.
You're gonna have
good.
giant fish piranha people.
Yeah, can we care about these
Talking for an
Is there going to be
hour
a
and a
love
half,
story
right?
between two fish piranha people?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
Is it gonna be about? Like, is it gonna be about his mother? Like how it hurt? Spoiler.
oh yeah, so I guess a little bit.
Spoiler for Aquaman.
But maybe like her
Aquaman.
living in the trench.
How she
Maybe.
got there and how she survived.
I guess. I wonder, is a spinoff supposed to is it like going to be a whole movie or like a mini series?
Supposed to be a movie.
Really?
Nice. Okay.
Okay. I mean, it was like you said, it was an interesting.
Flashpoint still doesn't have a fucking director, and they're working on a spin-off to Aquaman.
It made a lot of money. I guess it makes sense, but at the same time, I just don't know if I agree with the trench being a focal point of the film. I don't know. Like it seems, it was like you said, Peter. It was a fun part of the movie for sure. And it was interesting, but what can they really do with it? I look forward to seeing the trailer for it when it may eventually come out. But until then, I'm skeptical as to what they can really do that's entertaining with it.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine because they're doing okay right now. DC is, but it's just so weird that they would even make this.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, I guess we'll find out. Moving on, though, we have Frozen 2. We had our first official poster coming out. As we were talking about before we recorded the pod, not the most hype for this movie.
I don't care whatsoever.
Was I the only person? Okay.
Yes, you were.
No. That's not that.
That movie
Not that.
you may be.
Oh, I think I enjoyed the trailer. I'm the only one that enjoyed it. That's for sure.
Okay.
But have I ever ranted about how much I hate Frozen?
No.
On the show?
I don't
Talk
think
to
so,
us.
no.
Well, I fucking hate Frozen.
Good start.
I can't stand it. I think it was a whatever movie.
Yeah.
And I think what really pushed me over the edge into hatred was how much everybody, like this movie was everywhere. For like a good year and a half, it was everywhere.
It took over Disneyland for that matter.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it just made me hate it. Hate it so much. I don't think the story was kind of boring. I don't really give a shit about any of the characters. The songs weren't particularly good. I kind of like the "Do You Want to Build a Snowman" one. That one's kind of fun. I don't think Olaf was funny. Like nothing
had
about
his
this,
moments, but
nothing
it's
about
nothing
the
great.
I like
movie
Olaf.
was great. Like it was a very low point for Disney animation, in my opinion.
Wow.
Wow.
All right.
The
At
only
PG Java, guys.
the only
At
good
PG
thing
Java.
that I liked is that they kind of did like there wasn't a prince to like save them or whatever. It ended up just them being sisters that kind of saved them. That was like, okay, that was interesting. That's something that they haven't done in Disney before. That's fun.
It showed that women could be independent and it should be.
Yeah,
at
and I was
times,
like,
of
it's a good
course,
message for
anyone.
young children.
Of course.
Now this is just a random theory, but have you heard that theory about the parents are the parents of Tarzan?
Yeah, I have heard that theory.
Whoa.
I like that theory a lot. Too.
Yeah. That's why I'm bringing it up because I thought it was pretty cool.
Tarzan's
Look at
a-
AJ's
So
mind;
that
it's
means they
blown.
ultimately die
Because remember in the movie they actually say they got lost at sea,
Yeah.
so people kind of connect the dots of that's Tarzan's parents,
Interesting.
and they had a son, obviously, which was Tarzan.
What?
Right?
Wait. Does it say in the movie Frozen there is a son? That they
No,
had a son?
no.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
think so.
I want to know. I want to dig deeper into this theory because I don't really understand how people made that parallel.
Maybe we should do a whole episode on fan theories. I like the.
That would be
I love
great,
fan
yeah.
theory stuff.
Sure.
I got plenty of them.
Let's make note of this one. That seems interesting. I want to see how much I can either blow this one apart because I disagree with it, or be I guess persuaded into believing in it.
By
a
the
little
way,
bit.
how good is Tarzan?
Oh, I love that movie.
Amazing.
I fucking
Amazing
love that movie.
soundtrack,
Phil
unlike
Collins doing the
Frozen, I would
soundtrack
say.
is incredible.
Phil Collins killed that shit.
Yeah, it's
he
great.
killed it. I love that movie. Even the NSYNC song
So
was pretty good
good.
too, actually.
There's an NSYNC song.
Yeah, that shibidoo blah blah blah. Phil Collins wrote it and then produced it with NSYNC. Like, yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. When they're all it's like the apes trashing the camp.
I didn't know that. That is a fun. Yeah. I don't remember how it goes. There you go. The song it's coming back to me now.
Yeah,
Okay.
Anyway, but yeah, amazing film. That was like one of the last great 2D animated films by Disney. I would say.
I think that's considered the last of the Disney Renaissance, like the music.
Sure.
and
Yeah. I can
those
see
old
that.
stories.
Dude, that's throwing me so far back. We're not really talking about Frozen anymore, but yeah, my mom like pulled me out of school to see that movie. That was actually a really fun day. That was cool.
Nice.
That was
anyway.
well
I
said.
like this trailer. I think it's interesting. It's very dark in tone. It's almost like we talked about a few episodes ago how I haven't seen Cars 3, but John, you were saying it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I'd still recommend it, guys.
It
It's
kind of
pretty damn
reminds
good.
me of that
Okay.
because the trailer for this in tone is much darker and much more like intense than the entirety of the first movie was.
I'm glad you say that because I haven't seen this trailer. Full
fuck?
disclosure, I haven't. I thought there was just an image that said Frozen 2. That's the only thing I've seen on Instagram.
It was a teaser.
We could watch it right now. You could put it on pause. Put the recording on pause. We can watch it.
I'll see you in 2 seconds, guys. Okay. The music was amazing. Sorry for the jump cut, but yeah, just watch the trailer. I'm impressed. Darker tone.
You should add like a record
definitely
scratch
darker.
between the. Yeah, like a.
okay. I just may do that. Let me see. We're about 11 minutes in or so. I'll try to remember that. But yeah, it's a cool trailer. I loved the music. It was like a slow build. Yeah, Princess Elsa it was.
Yes.
Trying to escape this beach, this shoreline for some reason, kind of like Tom Hanks in Castaway. I kind of paralleled it to.
She like summons her chakra to get like across the.
Yeah, that was kind of
across
sick. Like
and then
she
she
ultimately
ice mans her way
fails.
down that off that boulder. Like, look, it's cool. I'm pretty hype actually.
It's cool, and then you get Princess Anna at the very end with like a sword attacking someone, defending them. I don't understand what's going on. It seems like the color red and like the season of fall has some sort of theme within this movie.
Yeah.
It looks like, and I'm excited to see what that means. But overall, there wasn't any dialogue in this movie whatsoever, was there? No speaking.
No.
Which is kind of cool. It kind of just added this tone, like there's like a air of mystery behind it, and
Absolutely.
this trailer got me really hype, and it doesn't seem all happy-go-lucky. You want to be on a snowman like in the first one at all.
Yeah.
Olaf ultimately melted in the fall season. He's nowhere in this movie. Actually, I liked Olaf quite a bit. In
You
the
see
first
him
movie.
in a bit.
He's
this,
actually in
Oh,
quite
I
a few
didn't see
of
him
the
at all.
trailers.
I didn't notice him at all. They don't care.
right
about
when Elsa's doing that little spinny thing. Like,
Oh, yes.
Olaf's right behind
And
her.
then when they're
dude.
looking in this to the scenery,
Oh, I didn't
he's
even
standing
notice.
next to them.
Oh, I didn't see that part.
Damn, I didn't even notice.
You're a snowman racist, AJ.
It's
yeah.
Gnosis.
God damn.
John's making the same face he did when AJ and I were talking about Kingdom Hearts 3. Like he's like he gives no shit about this.
Right.
I don't give a fuck.
2 out of 3 members of this cast like the
I'm
trailer.
gonna watch it, and I might like it. I don't know.
I was pretty impressed. I didn't expect to be grabbed by this trailer whatsoever.
Oh, I'm the last person that
Whatsoever.
thought I would like the trailer for this sequel.
I was saying while I was watching the trailer, at least near the end, I don't hate the first film by any means. I just didn't really. It wasn't extremely special to me, you know. It's not a classic Disney film in my mind, but this one looks like it might have some legs to it.
Oh yeah.
I'll reserve my full opinions until I see the film, but the trailer has me excited. And we might be recording that or reviewing this movie for the show.
Yay.
Screaming enthusiasm by John. I'm hyped for it. This movie looks like it's going to be something different compared to the first for sure.
Oh yeah, cool.
All right, moving on from Disney, or actually connected to Disney, right after we recorded the last episode, the Aladdin teaser came out, or a new trailer with Will Smith as Blue Genie this time. Loads of controversy exploded from there. What was the first thing you guys said when I brought it up earlier?
He looks fucked.
Yeah.
He looks absolutely fucked. Like it's like his build is fine. He looks genie-esque, like, but his something really wrong with his face, and just the way, like, it doesn't.
Yeah, it
it looks
doesn't
like
look
his
good.
entire face is moving within his head. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not connected to his head. I don't know.
I will give it this, is in that, like, he was kind of like a smoky-esque, maybe like a misty kind of form, if you will. Like, even in the first one, obviously that was in 2D, so, and maybe the levels of animation were limited to only be able to show so much of that. And I think in this movie, they're still trying to show that kind of vibe to it, that he's more of like a misty kind of form. And so maybe that shows as to why if his body flows one way, his face takes a while to catch up. I see that that's what they're going for, but it ultimately does not play off well.
Yeah.
Like, you ain't never had a friend like me, and I never want one like you
exactly.
either.
Fuck that.
Yeah. Exactly. Like,
My last wish, get the fuck away from me.
thanks for the $1 million. Get out of here.
Yep.
Exactly. What were you saying, John, about it earlier? You were like, you felt like they kind of rushed it, maybe.
just that specific part, because even the scene where he or that same scene when he comes out of the lamp, I think that looks pretty well done, like the smoke.
Sure.
But yeah, just his genie form does not look great. That was my only turnoff. I think the rest of it looks really good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's why I'm hoping it's just because it's a trailer. They still got a couple months. Maybe people are going to bitch enough to where they try to fix it.
I would hope so. Something.
Yeah, me too.
It just seems a little jarring of like, I just don't think I connect with the character very much. I mean, not to say that Will Smith won't do a good job as the character, but the art design behind it is not much of a backbone for the character to stand on, I would say.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What was I going to say about that? Oh, again, like you said, John, overall, the trailer looks fine. It's just that genie part. I'm not a big fan.
Because I'm actually still pretty hyped that Will Smith is going to be the genie.
I think it's going to be fun. I agree.
Yeah.
Well, John, you said also earlier, like, you feel like maybe they might have rushed the look of Genie for this, or at least, I guess, this pre-level of animation of him, just because so many people were upset that we didn't get to see Blue Genie in the original trailer.
Oh, yeah. I mean, people complained a lot because it was just, I believe, the image, right? Or was he actually in the trailer as the human form?
It was just the image.
Image.
Just a still of it, right?
People were complaining, and I think they just rushed it out because even Will Smith... He tweeted or Instagrammed saying something along the lines of, you see, I told you there was going to be a blue form or some shit like that.
I gotcha. And yeah, ultimately, it doesn't look good as a still, and it doesn't look good in motion either, which is kind of disappointing. But I have a feeling we're going to enjoy this movie, at least for it being Aladdin in and of itself. I just think the animation, maybe we're not quite ready for that genie. At least the technology isn't quite there yet. I'm not sure. Which, I mean, I hate talking bad about it because I know... animators have spent countless hours on making this character look as good as they can, but ultimately it's just not there yet. And I feel bad that, again, these animators, at least they're going nameless, I probably would imagine, but it must be a little disheartening to see that after all this time they put into designing it, ultimately people are just trashing it so badly. Like us, though, as well. It's just not there yet. I don't think it's their fault. I just think technology is, part of me, isn't quite there yet. That's all. I don't know. It's kind of...
I mean, I would argue that the technology is very there. They just didn't have time to finish it.
Yeah, you're probably right. I'm just trying to give the benefit of the doubt, but it is what it is. Hopefully by the time this movie comes out, they fix some stuff, but I think that's final footage. Like, I think that pre-production is done for that film. It's more so just post. Maybe they can clean up stuff, but...
Let's do some reshoots.
Yeah, we'll
some re-animation. Is that I don't know.
we'll see. Were there any other news topics you guys wanted to bring up?
I forgot. I was going to add this onto the Hulu thing that we talked about, but Hulu is open to revive the Marvel Netflix shows. Nothing official has been announced, but they said they're open to it, and I think it's a pretty good possibility, honestly. Okay. All the actors, every time they canceled one of the Netflix shows, they kept saying that they would live on in some capacity.
Yes.
So maybe that's what they've been planning this whole time.
Odd that they canceled it on Netflix to put on Hulu, and from my understanding, didn't they like break a contract?
Marvel?
Yeah, for ending the series with Netflix.
Not that I'm aware.
I wasn't aware of that.
Because I thought it was something along the lines of they ended up canceling these characters. They weren't legally allowed to use them until 2020. I remember that was actually
Yeah, I remember that. We reported on that as well.
Yeah, so isn't it only like that because they broke the contract?
It maybe. I don't know. Who knows?
I just find it odd.
Someone's picking them up, though.
You would imagine these shows would be going to Disney Plus. Why would they put them on a different streaming
They said that
service?
Hulu was going to be where they put their more adult stuff.
That does make sense.
So we're just going to get
happy
go on
kitty
Disney
stuff
Plus on.
Probably.
So
maybe
then
more family-friendly.
So we're going to get more
stuff, yeah.
family-friendly Loki, Winter Soldier. Great.
Yes. Well, I mean, those are characters are part of the MCU, which is Disney, which makes sense that they're able to have cool tones with those characters. But again, I would dare say that some MCU movies are more family-friendly than others. I think Loki is a safe character to use in those movies, other than the fact that he uses like knives and blades.
He's a bitch.
I think he'll be. I think that'll be. I
wasn't going to bring this up,
please,
because it's not confirmed. But there are some plot details to the Loki TV show that may have been leaked. And I bet the premise is that you're actually going to be following his adventures through different portions of time. We're going to see his influence on history of the world as where he's popped up in different places.
I feel that. So some of those aha moments, stuff like that. Okay, exactly. I mean, that could be fun. Maybe I don't know if I would want like multiple seasons of that, but maybe like 1 or 2 great seasons. I see no reason to prolong it very much, but it seems like a fun idea.
Yeah.
I'm down with it. Okay, cool. One piece of news I did want to talk about really quickly, for those that may be knowledgeable of the voice actor Vic Mignogna, he's mostly known in his role as Edward Elric in the Full Metal Alchemist series. He plays Edward Elric, as I said. He has a bit of a scandal on his hands.
Hold on, AJ. I hate to interrupt you, but he's also the voice of Broly.
I was going to bring that up too.
Dragon Ball Super as well. Yes,
which got to bring that up there.
Which sucks because this ultimately kind of affects that movie as well, most recently, because like people have said, like, you know, they want that movie out of theaters because of what this voice actor is being accused of. Essentially, right. I guess over the years he's been known to be a very eccentric celebrity-esque kind of guy, and that whenever he goes to conventions like Anime Expo, other stuff like that, he greets his fans with like big hugs, sometimes known to kiss on the cheek and such like that, sometimes hold fans a little close than maybe what is desired. And so he's kind of caught a lot of flame for this recently, which is too bad because I think his work as a voice actor is pretty impeccable, especially as Edward Elric in Full Metal Alchemist. But that doesn't say that what this guy did is acceptable at all. Essentially, people are just saying that it was unwanted, the affection he was giving, or the levels of affection he was given. One voice actor has come out, actually the voice actor that plays Bulma in Dragon Ball Super, has said that she's accused him of I guess some sexual assault as well. And also Christopher Sabat of Dragon Ball and Sean Schemmel, who plays Goku most prolifically in the Dragon Ball series, they've also spoken out against him. Not that he's affected them personally, but in defense of the voice actress that plays Bulma also. So he's catching quite a bit of backlash with this, and Funimation has dropped him ultimately. Rooster Teeth has dropped him because he played the character Crow in Ruby also. So this guy is in a bit of, I guess, PR nightmare right now.
Yeah, his career's done.
I mean, that's what happens. That's what's...
Hopefully he has money saved because his career's
Yep.
done. Yeah, that's what you get.
Again, there's an investigation going on as to whether or not what's been said is totally valid and true, but I reserve, my opinion on it. Just saying that it's really unfortunate to anyone that was affected negatively. I am sorry to them, and also it sucks to see such a talented guy go down this way. But I mean, if he is in fact guilty, then he's getting what's coming to him. But again, he has not been held guilty or innocent yet in a court of law, so we'll see how it goes. The only thing I speak in defense of him whatsoever is that all of these studios are dropping him instantaneously almost without being proven guilty first in a court of law, and I just feel like that is not due process whatsoever. I feel like he should at least be proven guilty first, but that's just my opinion.
Well, if he ends up not getting guilty, I'm sure he can sue them.
And he's in talks of a lawsuit being built up toward studios and toward the people that are speaking slander of him as well. But that is the case right now. I don't want to make the topic too dark or too long, but that is the case right now.
It's a pretty dark topic.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard not to make it dark.
Way to go.
But it is relevant to what we've talked about. We've reviewed Dragon Ball Super Broly as well. I mean,
he did it for the segue because we're going to talk about Alita. We get it. Anime. We get it. He tried.
Ultimately, that is the case. If more news comes out about it, I'm happy to talk about it in the future. But yeah, that is the case right now. But without further ado, we'll get into our main topic. Though before we do, if you ever have any questions or topics that you'd like us to bring up, go ahead and hit us up at STGeekPod@gmail.com. We'll shout you out in future episodes. You can also find us on Twitter and the gram at STGeekPod. Also, this episode is brought to you by MUZMM.com. You can get any bag/backpack kind of fusions that they have. They have smaller sizes, larger sizes for travel, pretty much whatever you want to do with that. Peter last episode brought his whole mic setup within this big old duffel bag that he has, and you have the large charcoal design, right, Peter?
That is correct.
Let's talk about the product. How do you feel about it?
It's great. I love it. It's sturdy. I've been
using it.
It looks pretty.
Nice.
I like the design. I kind of wish I would have gotten the watermelon one, to be honest, because ever since you've been bringing it up a lot, and I keep looking at it, I'm like, that one's really nice.
It's a pretty chill color.
But I do enjoy the one that I have.
Yeah.
And it's just fun. It's very, very sturdy. Holds a lot of stuff. It really does. There's a laptop pouch inside of it too, which
I think is really
which
sick.
comes in handy a lot, especially if I'm going to be doing some editing one of these days, or like maybe doing a little a recording session of myself.
Nice.
Which I may or may not be thinking about, which you'll hear about sometime later. Maybe.
I'm looking forward to this. This is the first I've heard of it, but with your large charcoal bag, that can become possible.
Oh, yeah.
Peter's on the go.
Gotcha. Also, you said you were taking a trip to China soon, right?
Yes. Honestly, this bag is very deceiving because it looks it's very compact, but when you open it, it's huge. You can fit a lot of stuff in this thing. Like, it's really good.
Gotcha. And you have the larger side, as you mentioned, right?
Yes.
Gotcha. So if you want to save 20% off your order, you can go to muzmm.com/discount/STGeekPod, or you can just use the STGeekPod discount code at checkout as well. Again, muzmm.com/discount/STGeekPod. Thanks so much, MUZMM, for sponsoring this episode.
20% off. That's what your offer code gets
20% off, yes. All right, so without further ado, Alita Battle Angel. Just right off the bat, I gotta say, I think we talked about it last episode slightly, was not really looking forward to this film very much. I thought the trailers did this movie very little justice. I mean, it showed that there was some neat animation to it, but ultimately, I just thought it was going to be a brainless action movie. And some may say that it is, but I gotta say, it really surprised me. I personally enjoyed this film quite a bit. One thing I gotta say, before we get into it, we're going to go non-spoilers, but I just have to say, we talked about in a past episode that there are so many anime movies, especially on Netflix, that do not hold up any justice, as we talked about Fullmetal Alchemist. Peter, you said you didn't care for that movie at all?
God, I hated it.
Okay.
I hated it so much.
Death Note starring Willem Dafoe, that got a lot of flack as well. Pretty much, and also the Attack on Titan films, people do not like those movies very much. And yet, I gotta say, of any anime-inspired movie with live-action characters, this one captured the tone of an anime pretty damn well.
It's very weird.
Yes.
In an anime sense.
Yes.
Like, it's very bizarre.
As anime would be, and yet it's I guess shown in like a real world kind of aspect.
Yeah.
And her look isn't very like distracting. At first, it was
Yeah,
a little
I agree.
off-putting, but
Yes.
you get so used to it right away. It's not even a big deal.
There's some moments where I feel like it stands out a bit more than others,
Sure.
but you're right. Like 90% of the time, you don't even notice.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. So, which one of you guys want to tell me like a brief synopsis of this movie?
I feel like I do
would
it
you
all the
condense
time.
it? Okay, John, talk to about it.
All right, she's a robot from the past or from the future.
Okay.
You guys can decide that. Pretty badass. She has some kung fu. She meets a father figure who kind of is overprotective. Mm-hmm. Very overprotective.
You soon find out why.
And who may know
And this
some
movie,
things.
it's very quick. It feels like it happens in a span of like 3 days.
I was
that's
going to bring that
actually
up, yeah.
Yeah, so just bringing that out there. She finds a boyfriend. He's not the greatest. Still pretty good looking. Not very much. So it's up to you guys. You guys can decide.
He's cool.
2019.
He's cool.
He's all right.
He becomes a robot too. Later on. Whoa, my pop filter just hit me in the
cut
face.
Should we cut that part? That was kind of a spoiler, no?
What?
He becomes a robot?
It's all right.
It's a bit
That's all
of a
right. You
spoiler.
are right though, Peter. But that's all right.
Last spoiler. But yeah, sure.
she
ends up along the way getting into some trouble. She becomes somewhat of a hero, I guess you can say.
Yeah,
And
I would say so. A hero of the people, if you will.
Yeah.
and there is quite a bit of story going on.
Hardwired
Yes.
into her.
Yeah, that's true. Quite literally.
Quite literally.
Yeah.
And there's some roller derby in here.
Yeah,
That was interesting.
essentially, that's like what this sport is in the movie. It's like death roller derby, something like that.
It's
you
called
know?
Motorball, and
Yes.
it reminded me of have you guys ever seen the movie or the remake of the movie? Fuck, why am I drawing a blank
Is
on
it
it
with
all of a
Ellen
sudden?
Page or something like that?
No,
I'm
not
thinking
that
of, like,
one.
this actual roller derby movie.
No.
Okay.
It's fuck.
It might not even be Ellen Page that's in the movie.
Rollerball. I think it's Rollerball.
Yeah.
Rollerball. I want to say I might have watched a clip
That's
of
an
it or two.
older movie. Right?
It looked cool,
There's
but yeah.
I think one came out in like the 70s, and then they remade it in like the 90s, early 2000s.
I think it was
LL
earlier
Cool
2000s.
J was in it. Neither one of them are good,
Okay.
Cool
but it
J.
reminded me of that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you got that vibe.
But like super intense and crazy and like
Yeah.
people die like and shit like that.
Yeah.
I want to say they die anyway. I could be wrong.
Yeah, so then that's about it. Rollerball. They want to go to, what was the name of the city in the sky?
Oh God, it's escaping me. Peter, do you remember?
No.
Yeah,
Elysium.
They throw Elysium, yes.
So there is a city in the sky that you kind of find out throughout the actual movie why it's in the sky. I won't say anything until spoilers. And that's kind of like heaven to them. That's where everybody wants to be.
Yes, they're like these ground-dwelling people that are on Earth, and yet there's this floating city in the sky that everyone's pining to get to because they see it as like a heaven, if you will.
Or is it?
Oh.
Maybe it's not.
Oh. And then you, throughout the movie you kind of find out there is this bad guy. His name's Nova, and he's pretty badass actually.
Yeah.
I kind of
pretty
like
cool.
how he. I can't say it. Spoilers. Spoilers.
We're going into spoilers now?
Well, yeah.
Was there
Okay,
anything else
sure.
you guys wanted to add before we get to just like to wrap up the story real quick?
I don't know. I liked it.
Anything else? Okay.
So weird.
Yeah, it's so
I can't get over how so weird it is. I liked it, but it's so fucking weird.
It is. It shifts, and I don't know if tonality is the word for it, but it definitely. I don't know where to pin it. It's a sci-fi action movie at heart, with definitely anime influence in there as well.
I think that's where the weirdness comes from. Honestly,
Oh,
is
sure.
because it's when something's good in one medium and you try to turn that into a different one, there's always going to be a struggle there, and I feel like that's where a lot of the weirdness comes from. There's not a lot of comedy, but there is comedy in this movie.
Yeah.
And I feel like it wouldn't be as jarring if it were taking place in an anime.
Yes,
But because it's taking place in live action as a movie, it there's moments where it feels like it's at war with itself, or it's being serious and it's being awesome, and like action starts to pick up, and then they'll throw a joke and just kind of like bring all that action to a complete stop, and then they'll build it up again, and then they'll throw something else out there. I don't know. It was very distracting for me, the humor.
I would say the humor.
The humor wasn't bad, but
No,
it was
wasn't
just
bad.
distracting.
I think the jokes landed for the most
Some
part.
of it. I mean, there was only really one joke that made me laugh that I still kind of laugh about.
Which one was
is
that?
when he says, "You can rip my arm off and beat me with the wet end."
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. Yes. Okay.
Besides that, I didn't really feel like the jokes stuck too much for me.
Sure. No,
I mean, they weren't
I
great,
agree.
but they had charm.
Yeah. No. Sure. I think the movie had quite a
They
bit of
got
charm
a
to it.
chuckle out of me
Yeah.
here and there.
For sure. You guys ready for full spoilers?
Yeah, it's going.
Okay, cool. So I would have to say, again, this movie did anime live action pretty darn well, but I also think that maybe what distracted me from the movie as well, like there were times where the action was so over the top anime-esque that it kind of made me laugh at it just a little bit, like not in a bad way, just more like okay, the doctor that finds Alita buried in some rubble, not very deeply buried for being there for 300 years.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know, but it's like but anyway, he has like this giant, almost like
That thing was so fucking weird. That was like, there's no way.
That was super anime.
Yeah,
that was super anime.
That's what I'm talking about. Like this movie has
There's no
anime
way.
tones everywhere.
And at this point in the story, you already know that he's been like hunting these things for a while.
Yes.
He would have died night one. If this is the thing that he's killing things with, it's so slow.
well,
like
it has
it's
the rocket boosters to help it have more power and control, I guess.
he misses once and he's fucked.
That's
like
true.
there's no way that he would be able to survive hunting these things with this weapon.
That's
Well,
a fair
it
point.
seems like he's more of. Again, I don't agree, or I agree with you that if he was going head to head with somebody, he would probably die.
Oh yeah.
But it made it seem like he was more of the stealthy one, where
Yes,
he kind of
yes,
hides
he
and
was
he
very
probably
sneaky.
strikes and kills with one blow.
That's a
is
very
what
good
I would
point.
imagine.
Yes.
So maybe he
It
only
was-
goes after people with lower credits,
sure.
so they're not as deadly. They're not as scary to go
It's just
after.
so weird seeing him carry that giant fucking hammer.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah,
around.
super
it's
anime.
so bizarre.
He's just a nerdy kind of doctor guy, engineer, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't look like he's really fit to fight at all. I mean, but don't get me wrong, though. I love the actor's work.
Christoph
though.
Waltz?
Yes, Christoph
And
Waltz.
he's really good in this movie too.
Everything I
Like,
see him in, he's great in, and this is no exception. But again, and his acting prowess is still really great. But I would have to say though that his bits with that Warhammer / Scythe thing, it is a little comedic at times.
And then
to see
there's
this little
that
man.
part towards the end where he fights where Alita's fighting that giant dude underneath
Yes.
the sewer, and then he comes to the rescue like was just running into. It's so weird. Yeah, and then he like hits him in the knee or whatever. But that guy's like 12 feet tall, and he's just this tiny man with this big. It's so weird. It's so fucking weird.
I agree.
I loved it though. I bought into it. I feel like you really have to just buy into this premise and buy into this world, which I did. I was in.
Yeah, sure. One negative critique I have to give, I lightly touched on it a minute ago, was just that again. So Alita is this, I guess, cyborg, you could say. Cyborg is what she's classified
Yep.
in the
Yes.
movie. She's found by this Dr. Ito character played by Christoph Waltz, and I guess she's been buried there seemingly for about 300 years, or she's 300 years old or so, right?
They don't. I think.
They
I
use
think
that
he
number.
he speculates that it's 300.
Gotcha.
And then later on, I think his nurse says, "I think she's older than you thought."
Gotcha.
So it's implied that she's even older.
Gotcha. Okay, but the thing is, if he finds her on top of a trash pile, but like on top of the trash pile.
Like,
was she recently dumped there?
I was a little late to the movie. I walked in right as that was happening.
Okay.
So I don't...
You didn't miss much.
You did not
okay.
much at all.
Yeah.
He's just kind of looking through the trash trying to find some robot parts.
Yeah.
And then he finds her just kind of there. But my thought process behind that is there are machines picking through it. Okay. So maybe she was buried under 300 years and eventually she just kind of...
re-earthed, I guess you could say. Okay, that makes sense. I thought that was a little silly, though. And of all the people probably scavenging, how was he just the lucky one to find her? It happened to be an amazing engineer that deals with, like, biotechnical, I guess... technology.
It's anime, AJ.
It's anime. It's manga. Yeah.
Mm.
For those of you that may be unfamiliar, as John pointed out earlier, there wasn't a full anime series of this movie, just a manga. And then what else did you mention, John?
It's an OVA.
Gotcha. So an original, I forget what that stands for. We looked at
video animation.
Original video animation. So more of like a short story within that universe for Alita Battle Angel. But yeah, I would say this movie captured the tone of anime pretty damn well.
The fight scenes are great.
Oh yeah, the action is incredible.
The action was
special effects also very good.
Again, the trailers made it seem like it was going to be such a cheesy movie, but I enjoyed it quite a bit.
The trailers made me think it was going to be a completely different movie plot-wise.
Yeah.
There was actually a lot more going on that I wasn't anticipating.
Yes, there's a little bit of an emotional journey in there. She has a boyfriend, which I liked, but also didn't like at the end of it.
There was something about his face. Like I bought him as like the pretty boy that she's kind of falling in love with, but there was something I didn't like about his face. Like I couldn't fully buy. I don't know.
He did have that mole on his eyelid. Maybe that had something to do with it.
Oh,
it's nothing against
once I noticed
his
it,
looks. He's a good-looking kid.
I think I just couldn't get over the fact that she was alive for like less than 24 hours, and then she's already kind of smitten for some dude.
I mean,
like John said earlier, this movie takes place over
like 3 days,
like a couple of days.
Yes, yes,
and a lot of shit's going down to those couple of days.
There's like a time jump at the end of the movie, but is it like how long is it?
They don't say. They say it's been months.
Oh, okay, is that all it was? Okay, gotcha.
Which, by the way, I have a problem with that. But I don't know
really?
if we're gonna get just a bit. It's a complaint.
Okay, no.
It's
go
just
ahead.
it's along the
We're in
lines
spoilers.
of cheesy. Well, my first cheesy complaint was that dog scene where he kills.
That
the dog.
was one of the that was one of the comedy bits. Not the dog dying specifically.
The dog does.
But
die
after
in the movie.
but
It's
after
arson.
that,
but
after when the dogs come, the dog master.
I didn't like him.
He didn't like dogs.
Oh
Yeah, I was like,
my
what?
god.
I kind of like that character, but he is very cheesy. But he's kind of like one of those side anime
the
characters.
character himself was cool.
Yes.
It was the line that was just
Yeah.
kind of unnecessary.
It was a cheesy.
I
action
even like
movie
the
line.
fact that he joined.
Yeah,
that
was
was
cool because he was the only one that wasn't taking part in the bar room brawl to begin with,
Which was great. I love that. He's
yeah.
just sitting there watching.
great action scene, by the way.
Yeah.
It kicked off very well. That was another thing. Okay, so the action's picking up in this scene. The bar room, they're all fighting with each other. Alita's kind of kicking everybody's ass.
Yes.
And then the
Yes.
doctor shows up with his giant ass hammer.
There he is again.
There he is again, just lugging this thing around. And then what does he say? He's like, "Stop or no more free repairs."
Yeah.
Yes,
And then
that's
everybody
right.
stops. And
I
then,
laughed at that one.
I thought it was kind of funny, but still, it was just kind of like kept going. And then the blade, the dude that has the blade.
The Damascus blade, yeah.
Yeah,
I like that sort
he
of
was like, the bitch broke my nose, and he's just like, Alita. What did she say? She's like, yep, yes I did.
Yeah, something
Broke my
like
nose.
that. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just so weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I
It's-
loved it.
Yeah.
So weird.
I want to watch this movie again.
Yeah.
I was thoroughly impressed way
So
more than
weird.
I thought. I guess it's true that sometimes when you have low expectations, sometimes it can have a greater outcome. And that showed in spades for this movie with me.
Yeah, without a doubt. And none of us have seen or read anything about this. Like the
I
source
want
material.
to. I'm going to.
I want
I'm pretty
to
sure
now.
I'm going to.
Oh yeah.
I hope you do. Let us know how you like it in future episodes because I look forward to learning more about this universe for sure. And I mean, again, since I'm not a fan of the original work of this series, I don't know what the manga's like, but I felt like for at least what it was, condensing at least maybe the first arc of the manga series, it was condensed very well. Like I thought the pacing was pretty decent. I thought it was weird that it was over the course of a few days at most, but ultimately I thought it was a good pacing to the film.
I think the last 15 to 20 minutes is when it started to drag.
Oh, okay.
There was like three different conclusions,
the first
climaxes.
death scene of the
I
boyfriend.
was gonna say that
Yeah.
he died twice.
And the second time happened not long after.
Yeah.
Shortly after the first death
Did
scene.
not last much longer than that.
I almost wish he didn't come back to life. Like, just let him die.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the death scene he did have was less impactful. I essentially she has the boyfriend character, and he gets stabbed in the stomach by this.
They know,
evil
they've seen it.
Warrior dude. What are the hunters called again? Hunter warriors.
Hunter warriors.
Hunter warriors.
By the way, I hate to say this,
sure,
but he was the first black guy to die.
What are you talking about?
He was the first human to die. The first human to die in this movie was the black guy.
I don't remember this.
Oh,
Yeah, the one that the hunter cuts him in half. His friend.
Yeah.
Why am I not remembering this at all? Oh,
He cuts him in half and he dies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, the boyfriend character is like the scrapper, where they take these mechanical cyborgs and scrap them for parts, essentially, while they're like walking the streets. They jump them, essentially paralyze them, and then rip them of their pieces. Again, this is spoilers. You may or may not know this already. Maybe you haven't seen the movie yet, but you don't care about the spoilers.
You shouldn't be listening to this if you haven't seen it, or if you don't care. I guess that you don't care.
Yeah, if you don't care, you don't care. I mean, there aren't huge revealing parts of this film. I don't feel. Not really. I mean, there's one actor reveal.
I mean, the fact that her
of the film.
boyfriend dies is kind of.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I wasn't expect. I mean, I was kind of expecting it,
Oh, really?
but I wasn't. It didn't occur to me like, oh yeah, that's right. They live in a world where they could just kind of put you back together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then he died immediately after. It's
That's
so weird.
pretty much
So
what
weird.
happens. Yeah. So Alita's adopted father, you could call him, is like the head honcho engineer of that place. He's super like integral to the community that they live in. And so yeah, he brings the boyfriend back to life due to cyborg engineering, and then yeah, the dude dies.
Well, his
20 minutes
ex-wife
later.
is the one who like takes. How the fuck did she even do that? By the way,
What's that?
she removed. She. I can't even.
It's an anime.
She
baby.
removed
It's
his
an anime.
head. She removed his head
and connected
off
it. Yeah.
and just. How? I don't know.
It is well, you do see it with multiple cyborgs.
She had
in
like
this
a bowling
movie.
ball
Oh.
bag of like tools, I guess. I don't know, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's an
It's
anime. It's
so
manga.
weird.
It's Japan. What can you say? I said that name really weird.
Japan. You said like Street Fighter 2.
Japan. Real wins.
Yeah.
God. Anyway, don't make me start saying Street Fighter 2 stuff. I love that name. What was I going to say? Go with that. But yeah, no, you do see multiple cyborgs in this movie where they have a head and yet their spinal cord is like slightly attached, but it's only like the first third of the spinal cord.
On the big
really.
dude was pretty weird.
Yes.
Yeah,
He
it
was
was
just
super
like
weird.
he was just like a big fat muscular head and then just like a little worm like tail thing.
Yeah, to like what's left of his spine, I guess you could say. So yeah, it was kind of weird. But again, like the movie, I thought the anime-esque melodrama throughout each scene again was a little jarring, but at the same time, it felt like I was watching a live-action anime. Like I thought it was still captured pretty well. There's a lot of dramatic scenes, at least here and there, sprinkled within that again are super anime, like over the top yelling and screaming and sometimes crying a little bit. But it was ultimately a pretty good film. Jennifer Connelly's character, I kind of liked her, but then kind of didn't care for her either. I don't know.
I thought she was fine, I guess.
Yeah, she was okay.
She was there.
She was there.
I
And
felt
she
like-
sort of had an arc too. Like
Yeah.
you like when you find out that he was he's the doctor's like ex-wife and they had a daughter, like that whole thing. Like, and it kind of comes full circle when she tries to save her boyfriend, even though it doesn't work because
Like,
he
tries to help her?
because he kills himself basically in the next scene.
No Elysium or whatever the hell the place was called for
Yeah.
you. What did you guys think of Nova? The overall villain character
I
in the
thought-
background.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
You get like the first visual of him I really didn't agree with. He looked kind of like delirious. Like he just has like these weird goggles on that cover his eyes, and he kind of just looked like he was staring off into space.
He kind of looked like the
It's a little
doctor from Despicable Me. Like that's like I kind of was just like, okay,
Again,
interesting.
super anime looking character. Not all of the characters are though. Like a lot of them are kind of, I don't know if believable is the word, but I accept what they look like. He looked a little over the top for me. This overall villain Nova
I
character.
mean, he lives in a completely different world. For all we know, like they all look like that.
That's a fair point.
Like Jennifer Connelly.
Connolly. Yes.
Her character even kind of looks very different compared to everybody else because she's clinging to like that place, whatever the fuck it's called.
Elysium.
Yeah. She
Elysium.
once came from that area, just like the Doctor did as well.
How brutal was it to see her brain and her eyes?
That
in the
was
bridge?
fucking awesome.
I was like, whoa, that's still her? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that. That was great. So there were 3, 4, I lost count, like culminations to this movie. Her boyfriend dying.
Re-dying.
Yeah, re-dying. The brain
re-death.
thing.
Yes.
And then I guess the roller derby thing is almost like a climax, a bit of a climax too.
In and of itself, yeah.
Like it's
which again,
weird.
that was the thing that I was gonna complain on was that's how she's gonna get to Elysium.
Yeah.
He's gonna allow it to happen. Like that's how it's gonna go.
I guess if you win, then you get to go up to
it's
whatever
anime.
the place is called.
Yeah, but he runs it.
That's true.
So
I mean, maybe he's challenging her head on because he didn't seem intimidated by her whatsoever.
Not at all.
Like he seemed like, bring it on. I'm here and I'm always watching. Like I kind of liked that final little say with that character.
Well, if this is classic anime, there's more to Nova than we know yet. He's gonna be some scary big robot dude, I'm sure.
Right, like it shows him as a humanoid kind of character, but I wonder what he will look like in like his quote unquote final anime form. You know what I mean?
Because he said he's lived forever basically, so he's not human or not 100% human.
Right,
Yeah.
like
He
a lot of
mentions that
characters
he's
in this
immortal.
movie. Yes,
Or he implies that he's immortal.
Can we talk about the special effects a little more?
They're great.
They're great, 100%.
I was telling John before you got here, Peter, that I felt some characters look greater than others. Like, for instance, the Hunter Warrior with the Mohawk, the pretty boy character. I thought he looked amazing in the sense that, I mean, yes, he was very handsome. But what I mean by that is, like, his mechanics of his body and then his face. Like, you would think that would look pretty jarring and, like, it would look very fake. But I thought the way that they did him was really, really good. And yet you get that gigantic character where his face, it was a similar idea where there's mechanical parts like of the neck and throat, and yet his face sticking out from that looked pretty fake. But the Damascus Blade Hunter Warrior character looked really good, I thought. I don't know why.
I think that has to do with him being humanoid.
Yeah.
I guess so.
And they
more
brought
human-like
that up.
face.
Yeah.
They actually brought that up. Alita says you probably spend all your money on making your face look pretty.
Yeah.
Yes. Gotcha.
So I think it's just in terms of money at that point.
Because even the other characters, like that one chick in the red robe who like, has blades on her hands and stuff, she's kind of doesn't really look too human either.
Yeah.
Even though she's probably more in line with the character you're speaking of, the Damascus Blade guy.
Yeah.
But she's still very much more on the robot side.
I would agree
as far
with
as
you.
appearance goes.
Well, I thought as far as appearance goes, though, even still, like the fact that character, most of his body is very mechanical. The only skin tone is on his face and his ears. I just thought, again, the animation was just spectacular for that character. Like I believed
his back
what he looked like.
Sick.
Yeah, it looked really cool.
Yeah.
What was that?
His back kind of looked like an
He had that weird
calendar.
Aztec tattoo
Yeah.
in his gears somehow. Like that was pretty cool.
Very well detailed character, I would have to
Yes.
say. Yeah. There, as we talked about earlier, there was that like character who's a cyborg, and he has the cyborg dogs as well. That character was really fun, and I thought looked pretty good as well. The dogs looked a little fake for me, but ultimately it was still a fun character with his little.
I got news for you, AJ. They were fake.
I'm just saying. The CG was not as convincing with those characters compared to others. That's all. Like as we also mentioned, Alita mostly looked really, really good. I thought the trailers didn't do her justice, but once you see her more in motion, you start to accept what she looks like in the film, and I enjoyed every bit she was in.
I don't know if this is just my age coming through.
Sure.
But one of the things I had a hard time at earlier in the movie is the fact that she's a teenage girl and she wants to do all these things, and I'm just like, you're a child. Like, just sit the fuck down and do what you're told. Like,
True.
There's rules for a reason, little girl. Behave.
I do agree with you, but again, you do find out that she's more mature than she seems, because once she is able to get her own body, or that piece of armor that she finds in the ship, then her subconscious does change her body form to suit her subconscious, which is more of a womanly figure. Because they even say that, like, oh, she's older than you thought. You know?
Is that what the deal is? I didn't.
Yeah,
I remember that scene and that dialogue, but I couldn't figure out what the significance was.
She was a little taller and more curvy for sure. She was more of an adult.
I didn't notice that at all.
Oh, gotcha. No, yeah. There was a guy in the theater.
You
that
haven't
said
gone cyborg
she
yet?
has balls. No, I don't know. It was a little.
Guess I'm just
pervy,
not
but
into
yeah.
cyborgs.
No, I'm just saying it was little details like that, and then you do find out that again she's been alive all this time. She's been older than you think, and she's like a warrior from the past. I thought that was really cool. Those little glimpses that you get.
So did I.
This
is what I mean.
Those are
Like
awesome.
I'm going to read the manga for sure, because this world, they did a really good job of building of world building.
Yes.
Talking about the war, and like we even get some flashbacks of it, and they raise questions that you want answers to. Mm-hmm. Like I'm in.
Yeah. One thing I liked about her also is that she seemed skilled when she used to be a warrior, but also she wasn't like the top dog either. Like she was receiving orders, and her name was 99, I believe it was.
Yeah.
I want to know what that means. Like, is she number 99 of those like
robots?
cyborg warriors
Yeah.
I
or
would
something
imagine.
like that?
Yeah.
It was a pretty cool scene though, like that moon battle.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
super quick, but it was awesome. I don't know. Anything else you guys have to say about this movie?
Do you still have the cast pulled
Yeah,
up?
sure.
Who was the voice of her like commander, like in the flashbacks?
Oh, let me see if I can even find that.
Was it Michelle Rodriguez?
It was Michelle Rodriguez.
I knew it. Okay.
Yep.
I thought
There's
so.
even a character name for her too, which is Gelda. I don't remember them saying that,
No,
but
they didn't
I'm
say
gonna
that.
assume it was.
Probably relevant in
that
manga.
manga.
Sure. I don't remember the character name Amick coming up, but that was Casper Van Dien from Starship Trooper fame as well, the lead actor in that movie. You guys
He
ever
was
seen
in this
that?
movie? Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't recognize him in this film, but he was in it.
Shit.
Okay.
I don't know who he was. Maybe he was the dog guy. No, I see the dog guy. That was Jeff Fahey.
Look up
He looked familiar.
the character.
Of who? Amick?
Yeah.
Okay, let's look it up. Amick Battle Angel.
Yeah. Because I'm super curious now.
Let's look up the
Come
images.
on,
So Rico was
All
in
right.
this movie?
Theater.
Rico.
I know Rico. That's who he was. I don't see him though.
Oh.
I don't see an image.
Oh
of
my
the
god, he
character.
was in Rico, right? I mean, he wasn't the.
Wait, what?
he was Rico. He's not the main cyborg, right?
No. The bad guy.
No.
With the
No.
Damascus blade. No, that's not him. That was an actor by the name of. Let me pull that up. That was Ed Skrein. Zapan.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know of him. He was. I think he was like
looks
the newest hitman.
Oh, is that
And
where he's
he's
from?
in Game of Thrones for like half a season.
He looked familiar, but I
he's
honestly
been in
can't
stuff.
place.
He's active. He's out there.
For sure. We got Jackie Earl Haley, who played this big old monstrous villain in the movie. He's like
Is
a
the
big old
IMDb
cyborg.
portion of the podcast?
Yeah, I guess so. But I just like the fact that he was in it because I thought the CG was pretty good to where it looked like him, but the giant cauliflower ears that he has, the big brawny hulking body that he has as well, was a little, I guess. I guess I just couldn't tell that it was quite him. I wanted to think it was him, but he's known as like Rorschach and Watchmen and stuff like that. Ultimately, I thought the cast was pretty fun though in this movie. Good supporting cast.
Yeah. And then Edward Norton was what's his name? Nova. The whole
Nova at
time.
the end, yeah. You get even though you don't really see his eyes, obviously it's still him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at the end, he takes off his little eye things.
You're
and then
right, I
that's when you
completely
see it's Ed
forgot.
Norton.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's
thank
when I
you.
was like, oh, yep.
I was like,
that
oh
was
shit!
him.
Look at that! It's Ed Norton.
Right, it's the Hulk, but
They
not
pulled
the
him
Hulk
into
anymore.
this. I was like, that's cool. I like Ed Norton.
Yeah. I'm happy to see him in a movie I did not expect him to be in at all. But
I really liked how it was very okay. So Marshala Ali, who plays the motorball head
Vector.
honcho dude, yeah, that guy. They throw so many names out
Yeah,
there. I
no,
don't
they
know
do.
anybody's names.
like an anime does too.
I thought he did a pretty good job. I like him as an actor. I've seen him in a few things. He was in. I first saw him in Luke Cage.
Me
He's
too,
the
yeah.
villain, and then he's also in. Oh God, what was that movie? That
I
came
liked him
out?
as a villain in Luke Cage also.
Yeah, he was really good. He's in season 2 of True Detective.
Oh, really? Okay.
Which
I heard is the lesser season, though, I have to say. But that's just what I've heard.
Yeah, I've heard that too, but I think that's because the first season is so good.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But anyway, he's a really good actor.
Yeah.
He does a really good job in this. And particularly, I kept thinking to myself, the scene where he dies after he gets stabbed, where he had to act as though he wasn't dying because he was still being controlled
Yes.
by Nova. Like, he had to be
Yes.
dying, but still act as though he didn't, like, that must have been a very weird thing to do.
Yeah, I've never seen a scene like that in a movie before. To where
This
Yeah.
looks fatal.
Like his
he
body,
starts
Yeah.
dragging down.
right? Like he was still intimidating as ever, but his body himself that he was obtaining was shutting down.
Yeah.
So that was kind of neat
That
to
was
see.
it was pretty neat.
And he was talking to like the very end. It was
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
cool.
So just-
Good, good observation of the scene. I like that one as well. It was like kind of trippy in that, yeah, like his body was failing him, and yet he was just fine. I don't know. That was very trippy, and it goes to the actor's credit for sure.
yeah, definitely.
Anything else you guys want to say about this movie?
Watch it.
Yeah, watch
it's
it.
good.
I w-
Even if it doesn't pique your interest, give it a try. It might surprise you, like it did all of us.
Yeah, it really did surprise me. Who directed this movie? It wasn't James Cameron, was it?
He produced it.
Oh, he produced
Robert
it.
Rodriguez directed it.
You're absolutely right. Thank you. Even my dad called that out. I saw it with him, and he was like, "Oh, wow, Robert Rodriguez. I like that." So yeah, it was. It
I like him. I now like this movie.
Yeah, exactly. No, we had a great time. I told my dad even before this movie, I was like, it doesn't look that great. Rotten Tomatoes doesn't have the best rating on it. I think it was like at 70% before we saw it, and then I think Metacritic had it at like 53 at the time.
Yeah, I was hearing pretty mixed reviews.
Yeah, and I could see why. It's not a perfect movie by any means, but it was totally fun, and I enjoyed the characters, and I want, like you guys said, I want to get to know the lore more behind the story, for sure.
Oh, yeah. The structure of the movie was fine. I think just buying into the premise is what's going to either make it or break it for people. If you can't buy into this world, I don't think you're going to like it.
And also, probably don't kill a character and re-kill a character. That would just seem ultimately
that was
pointless.
Weird. At this point, I was just like, this movie's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even care. Like, this is great.
Yeah.
Like, I was having a lot of fun with it at that point because I didn't know what way they were going to go anymore.
I feel that. I look forward to seeing the extent of, and if and when they make a sequel. I'm hoping they do. Seeing that the ratings of this film, and I'm not sure how much
Did it make money? That's all they care. That's all they care about.
That's true. I hope it does, just because I want to get another entry of this saga. I really, really do. But yeah, I hope to see more of it. I'm looking forward to it. If and when it does happen, I want to see what happens with Nova. Is the second one going to be the final movie? Are they going to stretch it to 3? I don't know. I just hope that they take what didn't quite work in this movie, like die, re-die, and little silly themes like that, and just emphasize the major good points, which are a lot of them in this film, and just push that to 11. You know what I mean? And kind of leave the other goofy stuff behind. We'll see, though. But again, some of the goofy stuff did push towards the movie's charm, in my opinion.
Now that they've laid the groundwork, I think that should they make another movie, they can just build upon it.
Yeah.
Because even the first 20 minutes of this movie kind of drag a little bit because they're building the world.
Okay.
And at least I thought.
Okay.
But once the action starts picking up and you kind of get an idea of the relationships of certain characters and how they fit into this world, that's when it really starts to ramp up.
Sure.
And they have all of that taken care of now, so...
Now it's just full on story, exposition, action, set piece, I guess. Yeah,
let's do it.
I agree. Real quick, I got to say, I actually wish there was a little more of the beginning of the film in the trailer. I just felt like they were trying to sell that it's a goofy action movie, and it's not really. Like, I liked kind of the connection of Alita being adopted by the Dr. Ito, and then kind of them becoming not a family, but I guess they ultimately are a family. But I kind of just liked him teaching her how to be a person. So I don't know. I just felt like
father.
What's that?
She calls him father.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I thought, based on the trailer, I thought he was going to die early on.
Yeah, that's true. Because you don't really see him in the latter half of each trailer.
Yeah.
Really
so
well.
I mean, I was surprised.
Yeah, no.
I thought the trailer did a good job of not giving anything away.
That is true. It did not give anything away. It's just that, she's a badass robot girl and she kicks ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you. Any final thoughts?
No, I guess not.
No.
Ultimately, go out and watch this film. It was pretty damn awesome. Looking forward to the next one. But I think that about does it for this episode of STGeek Podcast. John, take us away, sir.
Well, let me just say this.
Oh, yeah.
This is definitely a watch.
Oh,
or rent.
Yeah.
Rent.
Oh, yeah.
Rent.
I forgot to do watch, rent.
Yeah, skip it, rent it, buy it.
Yeah.
I'd say it's an easy rent,
Yes.
but a maybe buy.
I would buy it.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot.
It's a CG spectacle for sure.
Without a doubt.
You could see the James Cameron money behind this one.
Yes. All right. So that's it. Thank you for listening, guys. This is Strong Tough Geek.
Later on.
Peace.
Check.
Check.
Check your booty.